Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Frugalista Files, How One Woman Got Out of Debt Without Giving Up the Fabulous Life, by Natalie McNeal, narrated by Machelle Williams. Preface. For the majority of my life as a working adult, I've had the nasty gift that keeps on giving. Debt. Credit cards, a student loan, and a car loan. It shouldn't be a shocker. I was a promiscuous spender, charging trips, dinners, shopping sprees, and whatever else on my credit cards. All of this on a print reporter's salary. It wasn't a good look. I am Natalie P. McNeal, and I created and run my blog, thefrugalista.com, all about living frugal and fabulous. This book is an up-close look at a very pivotal year in my life, 2008. This book chronicles the year that I decided to beat my debt monster once and for all. It was the year I became a frugalista, a woman who lives within her budget without sacrificing her fun, fabulous lifestyle. Yes, it is possible. To stick to my frugalista mission, I started blogging about the ups and downs of trying to manage my money, career, and life overall. Becoming a frugalista, hands down, has been one of the best things that I've ever done in my life. It started out as a way to pay down debt and manage my money better. Over the course of the year, as I kept blogging and connecting with other people who were going through the same things I was going through, or had advice on how to live better, being a frugalista became empowering. Social media played a big role in helping me connect with the right people to help me on my frugal path. I wrote this book for everyone who knows they could be doing a little bit or a lot better by their finances, but isn't quite sure where to start. I'm just a regular girl who had a vision that she could be debt-free. Trust me, if I can be a frugalista, then you can too. This book details my journey, the good, the bad, and the drama-filled, of trying to reach my goals. I hope it will inspire you to reach your own. Chapter 1. January. Debts. Credit cards, $9,785.24. Car loan, $8,600. Student loan, $2,636. Total debts, $21,021.24. January 8th. This morning I did the walk of shame. Oh, not that kind of walk of shame. The one some women do after leaving some random cat's house in the early morning in yesterday's clothes for all the neighbors to see. No, this walk was a slow, dread-filled stroll in flip-flops, painted toes, and PJs to my mailbox. My Visa bill was in my mailbox. My $6,000 Visa bill that showed my shameful, embarrassing, out-of-control spending. I admit it. My name is Natalie. I am a spending slut. There's more. This isn't the only debt I have. Another credit card shows a $3,785.24 balance due. Well, that was my balance at the beginning of the week. In the time it took me to walk from my mailbox to the one-bedroom apartment that I call home, the bill probably jumped an additional $75, thanks to interest. As for savings, I use the term loosely, I have about $1,000 in a savings account that I use to cover bills. My emotions about this mess range from feeling pretty pissy to being downright scared. I work hard, real hard. I dare say I'm a working stiff. Don't I deserve those mani-pedis? Why shouldn't I buy those marked-down Kate Spade shoes? On the other hand, how did I become this crazy, out-of-control walking ATM machine? I thought that when you're depressed, you crawl into bed and sleep for weeks, but I couldn't sleep a wink last night. Every year I say I'm going to be better about my spending and my bills. I worry that I'm starting to sound like a broken record. Enough already. I can't keep this act up. When will my credit card debt be gone for good? The worst part of it is that I don't even know where the money's been spent. What is on these credit cards? And what in the hell do I have to show for it? I won't. I will not. I cannot keep this act up. This is the year I will get really serious about my money. I can't keep living like this, professional, broke, and in debt. I am not living like an extra on Sex and the City. I am living like the workin', frontin' poor. January 9th. Is there something wrong with me? Not only is my spending out of control, but I'm stuck. I've been at the same job for almost 8 years. I live in the same one-bedroom apartment I first rented when I was 24 years old. The rent, which started at $818 a month, is now $995. My apartment complex went condo, so I'm one of the few renters left. The cheap, ugly linoleum floor is cracked, and my landlord is in no rush to replace it. How did I end up here? Why do I always feel like I'm slogging through an endless Florida swamp when it comes to my life? I was sure that by the time I was 32 years old, I'd be married, have a top-notch job at a major newspaper, and be nominated, at least once, for a Pulitzer Prize. Being stretched so thin financially and emotionally got me here, melted on my couch. And while sitting on my couch, I noticed the new rug, coffee table, TV stand, and fake-ass tree hanging in my living room, all courtesy of a late fall spending spree. Right before the youngster came to visit, I started sprucing up the home, thinking a hip-hop house would make me look more professional and together. It was about time I had big girl furniture, not a footlocker as a television stand. Or so I rationalized. I mean, at least he has an excuse for his bachelor pad. He's still in his 20s. At age 31, I'm not poised to jump the broom anytime soon. I'm dating a man 7 years my junior. Okay, so he lives in New York City. We've been seeing each other for the past 3 months. The youngster works full-time and is finishing up his undergraduate degree. Damn, I'm a cougar. Well, maybe a puma. I don't troll bars in tacky leopard print dresses looking for young boys. We instant message each other. He's the one who got me into Facebook. For Christmas, I FedExed the youngster an adorable $100 Sean John jacket. He sent me a Tiffany silver heart bracelet, which arrived on Christmas Eve. I wear it every day, and every time I look at it, I smile. It's been a while since I got some hardware from the male species. So sweet. He came to visit in December, right before the holidays, and took my mother, who was in town, and me to P.F. Chang's for dinner. It's one of her favorite restaurants. Said the maternal about the youngster. He's very polite. You can tell he was raised. My mother is from the South and is a retired school teacher. Having raising is like saying he is the second coming. Yep, she was hooked. He slept on the couch that night, and she slept in my bed. Talk about family togetherness. He doesn't complain about me either. Geez, you date some guys and they always find a problem with you. Weight, hair, personality. He is a hand-holder. Reads my articles in the newspaper, even when I am bored with them. He sent me flowers just because I am breathing. He says, let's think long-term. He acts smitten. Me gusta. He's relatively easy to talk to and low maintenance. I also like that he's not a drinker. A lot of guys my age are budding bitter drunks. Older men, they can be a project. Everyone my age is realizing that things aren't quite what we had expected them to be. We assumed that by 30 we were going to be something special, be rich, have a PhD, or be an extraterrestrial. Quite honestly, dating in my age pool can be a hassle. Despite the long distance, it's kind of nice dating someone younger, because the youngster is still optimistic about life. I, on the other hand, know I have a good life, but I also know this can't be as good as it gets. This is what's freaking me out. This can't be as good as it gets. We'll see how it goes with him. I enjoy our time together, when we're together. When he visits, we have a ball and he pays for everything. Nice dinners, Miami Heat games. But for the most part, it's a virtual relationship. I am tolerating the distance for now to see if it's worth it. But I know the only way the youngster and I can make it work is if we're in the same city. I'm more than willing to ditch my job. My work life is, stagnant. When I mention that I'm a reporter at the Miami Herald, a well-respected paper in the middle of one of the sexiest and newsiest markets, a paper that's won plenty of Pulitzers and is a feeder to the Washington Post and the New York Times, trust me, it sounds impressive. But really, how prestigious is the suburban office in the Everglades next to a Cracker Barrel and a car dealership? I took the job in the suburban office, believing I'd be there for just 2 years before being recruited by the Washington Post or moved to the business desk, which is where I really want to work. That was almost 8 years ago. Have I heard from the Post? Well, I did get a once-over by them at a career conference. Yeah. That was the end of that. I still cover city commission meetings, daily shootings, and news conferences in the burbs. On weekends, I cover car crashes on Alligator Alley, the road that connects east and west in South Florida. So much for Miami Vice. I am bored out of my mind. My salary sucks. What I write about isn't sexy or glamorous. It's a grind. Everyone at work wonders why I haven't left. I kind of wonder why, too. But then I remember the few job offers I've gotten since working there. More local reporter coverage of city commissions. With newspapers going the way of the Pony Express, finding a new job that I want is a hot mess. It's more of the same type of work. It's hard to transition to being a business reporter when most of your clips are local news. I feel even more depressed. I don't leave my low-paying, dead-end job because I need the money to pay my rent, car, and school loans, and to bring down my credit card bills. And I have a habit called eating. I can't make a dent in paying off my credit cards because I use them to charge all of my life's necessities, drinks and dinners out, hair salon visits, a magazine rack in an attempt to make my bunny pad look nicer, etc. And ranting about it doesn't seem to do any good either. The sad part is, I pay my debts on time, and I'm still broke. Paying bills on time means I pay the minimum amount due on my cards for a really long time. What's the point of a good credit score if you live from paycheck to paycheck? I have to try something new. I can't go through the rest of my life broke and in debt. January 11th. I sat myself down and forced myself to do the math. I make $44,000 a year and take home $1,200 every 2 weeks after health care and my 6% 401k contribution. And yes, I'm vested in my 401k and proud of it. My rent at $995 and my car loan at $313 per month take care of one $1,200 check. My student loan is $50 per month, which doesn't sound like a lot. The thing is, it should have been paid off this year. But when I got my car, I couldn't handle the $129 student loan and the car loan, so I consolidated my payments. I added a few more years' worth of payments on my student loan, adding more interest on the bill. The original debt of $10,600 wasn't even that bad, and I'm still paying on it. That darn student loan has become like a mortgage payment, a long-time payment that is hard to fathom getting rid of. I have to take a break. This is too painful. January 11th, continued. How did I wind up here anyway? I have a career, a college education. This wasn't supposed to happen to me. I can't help but think that I never would have been in such bad debt if it weren't for my first car loan. As a journalism student in D.C., interning at various newspapers, I needed a car. My mother and I saw a TV commercial offering a lease on a Mazda Protégé for less than $200 per month. Sounded like a great deal. A cousin with his own business agreed, saying that buying a car is a bad investment. Leasing is better, he told us. I had a savings account with money saved from my internship, so I put down $1,500, and my mother paid the car loan. For some reason, though, the car loan was more than $200, and we never questioned it. I know. At the time, it cost only about $12 to fill up the car with gas. I was rolling. Since the car was leased, I could drive it only 15,000 miles a year. Well, after several trips to New York and Philadelphia to party with friends, and driving to and from internships in Dallas and Miami, it would be an understatement to say I went over the allotted mileage. I went way, way, way over the mileage. And Washington is no place for a new car. Parking garages were too snug and expensive, so I parked the car on the street. Well, that's okay if you know how to parallel park. If you successfully do back in, getting out of a tight parking space can be even more difficult. Dents, dings, scrapes, chips, dimples. If there was such a thing as car abuse, surely my Mazda would have been taken into automobile protective services. I would have been cuffed, forced to walk the perp walk, and made to face the judge and jury. When the lease was up, the car was a wreck. It was cheaper for me to buy the car than to try to fix it up or pay the overage on the mileage. So after spending thousands to rent it for 3 years, I paid for it over another 4 years at the monthly rate of $224. And because I was officially grown up and out of college, Mom's gravy train had come to an end. Driving that eyesore was an embarrassment. It was such a piece of junk that some friends wouldn't ride in the car with me. Why don't I pick you up? I was afraid to send it through the car wash for fear that one of the headlights would fall off. I, stupidly, paid $200 to a guy who promised he could smooth out the dents with a crowbar. Working in the parking lot of a strip mall, the dude made things worse by using gold lame spray paint to pimp my car and fix the scrapes on my once champagne-colored ride. I drove that miserable clunker until it couldn't go another mile. Literally. It was in such bad shape that I had to pay to have it towed from my apartment to the junkyard. Having learned my leasing lesson, it was time to buy my first car. I wanted and could afford a Honda Civic. But my mother and my brother said no. They were tired of me being the girl with the battered starter car. I mean, my first car was named the Protégé. They wanted me in a more mature car. Warned my mother, "What if you want to have a family? You won't be able to fit them into a Honda Civic." I thought about those things too, but honestly, I just didn't think my family wanted to ride around in an entry-level car with me when they visited. They wanted me upgraded to where I should be at my age. They knew I was in no position to buy a house. The next best thing was a decent, respectable, professional ride. So, of course, I listened to them. Visions of babbling, cooing babies in the back seat. I bought a used Honda Accord for $15,000 and put $2,000 down. My monthly payments came to $313 over a 5-year period. Between the taxes and interest, this car will end up costing about $20,000. Had I bought the Civic, my payments would have been closer to $200 a month. Here I am, 3 years later, still paying $313 per month on a 4-door sedan. And no gurgling babies. What did I learn from all of this? Never ever listen to your family. Mother, brother, cousin, step-aunts, sisters, cousins, brother-in-law, when buying a car. My brother and mom don't have my bank account. January 12th. Okay, so car and rent. Where does the rest of my money go? As a reporter for the Miami Herald, I drive to crime scenes, news conferences, city commission meetings, and courthouses. I have to fill up my tank twice a week at $30 a pop. Okay, so I'm not the best at keeping receipts and turning them in at work for reimbursement. I can't even lie. When I first took the job at the Miami Herald, I didn't even get reimbursed for my moving expenses from my old job in North Carolina to Miami, the suburban swamp. Why? Because I didn't fill out the paperwork to be reimbursed. I paid for my own moving expenses because I was so embarrassed that I didn't fill out the paperwork in time. Ugh. Car insurance, $110 a month. Renter's insurance, $500 a year. I mean, I live in South Florida, where hurricanes and other acts of nature are a way of life. I didn't want to see my belongings washed away in a storm. Dry cleaning, about $60 every 3 months. I do love silk shirts, silk dresses. Naturally, I only buy them on sale. South Florida is sunny and steamy. Silk and steamy don't mix very well. When you sweat, the armpits of white and beige silk garments turn, shall we say, a very mellow yellow. One wear, and those bargains are off to the dry cleaner. Silk blouses on sale, plus repeated dry cleaning equals no bargain. I'm a big believer in taking classes to advance my, career. Last year I flew to New York to take a crash flash course for journalists. The course set me back $400. The airplane ticket to New York was $200. Food and cabs were about $100. In all, the trip was a $700 affair. Eek! I saved money by staying with my friend Carly, and I didn't understand a single thing the instructor said after the first 2 hours. My classmates groaned and grumbled because I asked so many questions, effectively making me the class jerk. I majored in journalism, not computer science. How am I supposed to understand how to manipulate vector graphics? What the hell is a vector graphic anyway? Flash is evil. There, I said it. I ran out of class to meet my friends for dinner. We feasted and drank that evil Flash class away. I was scarred from the experience. How are you going to teach a print reporter one of the most cryptic software programs or whatever it's supposed to be? I didn't stay in class, so I'm not sure. It was cruel and unusual punishment. I spent another $600 on online content for a website course. At least this time I didn't have to travel. I attended class once a week from my dining room, or as I like to call it, my office. My place is too small for both a dining room table and a computer desk. The computer desk won out. A girl's got to have her priorities, and let's face it, I'm not much of a cook. I launched my own website to showcase my clips, costing me $1,200. I paid cash for it and basically cut my savings account in half. It was for my career, after all. I thought it was gorgeous. All the job recruiters said it was nice. But did Natalie get a job? Hell no. Natalie still click-clacks at her messy desk in the South Florida swamp, suburbs. There's the annual journalism convention that I try to attend. That's about $1,000 for a new suit, travel, and hotel, even sharing with a roommate. I always thought it was worth it to network, but I wonder if it's really worth paying to network in an industry that's not growing. The rest, about $100 to $200 per month, goes to paying off my credit cards. Paying them off, I suppose, wouldn't be such a problem if I didn't keep charging my life. My Thai food addiction, my twice-monthly hair appointments, my kick-it weekend trips with my friends, my manicures and pedicures, my clothes and shoes. I want to be debt-free. Really, I do. But here I am, over $20,000 in debt, and the hole just seems to be getting deeper and wider. When I think about it, I realize I'm almost half of my income in debt for past transgressions. Sigh. January 13th. Okay, so I have issues with money. The only way I can think of to get out of this problem is to stop. Stop spending money. But will not spending money get me out of debt? And after a lifetime of binge spending, can I possibly rein it in? January 14th. The light bulb went off last night. Being a spending slut is ruining my life. I asked myself, what's the opposite of debt? The answer, no debt. And there's only one way to get out of debt. Stop putting out. Stop spending. Stop buying. Stop consuming. Stop shopping. Stop charging. Stop wanting more stuff. Being a spending slut is ruining my life. I am not going to buy anything for 1 month. Nothing. 1 whole month, starting February 1, the first day of the shortest month and my birthday month. My credit cards will go in my desk drawer. I will pay my rent, my school loan, my car loan, and my credit cards. I will buy food only to be cooked at home and gasoline with cash. Yes, that's it. I am going to boycott buying crap. January 15th. I can't believe I'm going to boycott buying crap. Me? Did some finance fairy get into my diary yesterday and write that? I love shopping. And by shopping, I don't mean window shopping. I mean spending money. I mean wandering through stores, trying on clothes and shoes for hours, and then taking my favorites to the cash register and walking out with shopping bags. I mean having my hair and nails done regularly. I love to go out to bars and to restaurants. I love to travel. For as long as I can remember, my mother got her hair professionally done every Friday night by Leonard, our family hairstylist. Every other Friday night, Leonard styled my hair as well. My mother was always complimented on how nice her hair looked wherever we went. Whenever I got my hair done, it would shake and shine and smell awesome. My friends at school would marvel at the body in my hair. Attempts to create a similar look at home were never quite successful, so why bother? Just spend the money and look good. Beauty costs. My mother and I went shopping every Saturday morning while my dad slept or played golf. We went to TJ Maxx, Marshall's, and other discount stores. We either put fashionable items on layaway, oh, I can wear those designer jeans to school in 4 weeks, or had to make a payment on merchandise already on layaway. Credit cards have made buying things on layaway pretty rare these days, but back in the day, layaway or an installment plan was a common way to purchase an item without paying the entire cost all at once. The store laid the item away until the customer paid for the whole thing, usually over weeks or months, with cash. Layaway was how I was taught to shop. With layaway, you always put up your cute stuff. No one put underwear or long johns on layaway in my home. When filling out the forms, my mother would always write, "Do not send a reminder to home address." When we got back from our Saturday morning shopping jaunts, we waited until my dad was sound asleep on the brown couch downstairs, and then we brought the shopping bags into the house so he wouldn't see how much damage we'd done. My mother taught me to shop by label. Liz Claiborne and Calvin Klein were like personal friends, and for bargains. I once scored a pair of $100 Girbaude pants, brown with gold pinstripes, for $5. Mom was so proud. She taught her baby well. I remember wearing them to school, and I kept the tag on them, showing the pants off to my friends, who marveled. They were only $5. What she didn't realize was that she was creating a mall monster. One year I wanted a Gucci bag for Christmas. Instead, my mother bought me a fake one and tried to pass it off as the real thing. I ripped into her. I know my brands. How dare you buy a phony beige, not tan, plastic bag with interlocking O's instead of 2 G's? I refused to wear it and tossed it on a closet shelf, as if I didn't know Ochi from Gucci. The next year, she bought me a real Gucci bag. I was so proud of that slim, chic Gucci bag. I wore it for special occasions, school dances, and parties. I even wore it on my 8th grade graduation trip to Illinois State Capitol, Springfield. In the class photo, there I am in the front row, even though I was taller than most of the other girls and boys at that age and belonged in the back, making sure that my Gucci bag.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?